now to remove the extruder from the Wombot is going to be fun. I actually have a different fan arrangement on mine. The fans here are a little bit quieter, so one step quieter. I can barely hear my printer when it's running, but pretty much will be the same for everyone. You'll have to excuse my hands in the video shot here. I've only got the one camera at the moment. Looks like that one's just held on there. Whoops. Probably should cover the glass bed while you're doing this, maybe. Alright, we'll put all the parts over to the side there. Okay. Very small. So I'm actually going to heat up the hot end. I'll get my little torch. Best way to do this. Alright, try and do this without burning myself. Oh, look at that. That made all the difference. So obviously when getting those out, heat up your hot end. Look at that. Perfect. Tip for everyone. Okay. Now, we need to remove that off the shaft. Now, something you'll notice with the new BPS hot end, the gear drive is a different, see if you can see that, different diameter. So it's actually driving on that section there versus that. So it will actually make a, we will have to change the steps per millimetre to something, well, probably quite different. We will have to see how much of a difference that makes. I think that goes the other way by the looks of it. And there's problem number one. Okay. Move that around there. This section here actually hits on the arm for the BL Touch. Okay, here we are a few minutes later after I just did some work on the extruder. I put the new thermistor in. I didn't like the way that it could possibly come out. There's two actual slots here to hold the cable in, but didn't quite hold it in as tight as I'd liked. I just put a little brass washer over there. I don't think you need it, but I added that anyway. Okay, the next step is to actually put the fan on. Now I use a larger fan, so I've actually created this little device here, which is a fan adapter. This is designed for the standard length. I think they're 50mm bolts. So I will actually move the camera back up here. That should be right. Now these 50mm bolts, you may need to order some 40 or 45mm bolts if you wish to use just the existing fan that came with the Wombot. Very nice. This is a new one. I will actually put it on Thingiverse, the design for this. Should anyone want it, it's available. Oops. Try that again. Okay. That's probably a bit too long, is it? Perfect. Is that the same one? No, a little bit too long. There it is. I'm not putting the fan shroud on at the moment. I'll put that on at a later stage. Okay, there we go. Fan's on nice. I'm going to actually turn the printer on just to make sure. You'll have to excuse, these fans are a little bit noisy at first. I'll just turn it on to make sure everything appears to be okay. I really need to get some better fans. And I'm showing 14 and 15 degrees on the bed and extruder, which is about right. Now we've got it all aligned up, I'm going to actually just cut the end off the filament here. Sit it in there for the moment. Now I'm going to heat up the extruder because the extruder will not turn. Okay, now we have it all lined up. I've put the filament in the top here, fed down through the top piece of tube. I am going to heat up the bed. So we preheat PLA because the extruder will not move until it's up to temperature. So we will fast forward through this little heat up procedure. Okay, we are up to temperature. That didn't take long at all through the magic of television, or internet. Okay, we are going to actually go to prepare menu, go down to move axis, move 0.1 mil, move extruder. I'm going to see if we can get this thing to feed through. Interesting. The extruder's moving backwards. What I'm doing now is I'm actually moving the extruder down to basically prime the system. I will have to redo my steps per millimetre, but I just want to see if I can get it to extrude out the bottom at the moment. Finally, we are getting some extrusion. Okay, now I'm actually going to do a bit of a test. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure up 10 millimetres from there. So there to there is 10 millimetres. Now I'm going to tell the system to actually extrude 10 millimetres. So if I go to prepare menu, go down to for you. Move axis, move 1 millimeter. Extruder, it's at -76 at the moment. We're going to go to -86. There we go. And we can see we haven't quite extruded 10 mil. It's actually extruded about 7 millimeters. So my steps per millimeter are off. What I need to do is go into my control menu, bring the camera over here. What I need to do is go into the control menu, not that one, motion. X, Y, Z, and there should be an E. Mine is set at 205. We're going to bump that up to about 200 and I think we'll go about 250. Actually, let's go 280. The reason we're actually doing this, okay, now we're going to go all the way back up to the top and we're going to store memory. We're storing that to actually store that 280 into the non-volatile RAM. Now what we're going to do, I'll move the camera back over. We're going to measure up another 10 millimeters. Now we're going to do a slightly different. We're going to measure up the 10 millimeters. I'll use a there we go, 10 millimeters. Okay, we are still at temperature, so we go to prepare, move axis, 1 millimeter extruder. We're at -86. We're going to go to -96. Interesting. Let's mark 40 millimeters. Okay, let's move the extruder to -77, so we want -107. Sorry, 117. Okay, we're going to -117. You know what? I think that's pretty much spot on. Notice the black line is, it might be slightly over, but the black line is pretty damn close to where I measured it. So I'm pretty happy with that steps. I ended up with the steps of 310, sorry. My E steps at 310. Okay, we're back. Now, over the last little while, I've created a new bracket for the BL Touch. This will allow me to install it so that when it sits there, it actually clears the extruder tensioning device, so that I can actually adjust the tension on the extruder rather than having that bent one that I did just as a temporary measure. So we'll install this now, and then we'll go back and we'll calibrate and do a test print. Okay, now what I'm doing is actually dropping down the extruder so that the nozzle just touches the bed. There we go. And I want to make sure that I still have a good millimetre or two. I believe the proper setting is 1.7 millimetres. Someone told me that. Between the tip of the BL Touch and the bed. So mine is actually a little bit low. I'm going to move it up a fraction. Okay, I'll tighten everything up. That looks good. I'll tighten everything up and then we will just set the home to see that the BL Touch actually works.